Hello and welcome back to the Building HVAC Science Podcast. We're working hard to connect HVAC and building performance professionals. And we recently had the opportunity to be at the podcast pavilion at the AHR Expo. So this episode today was recorded at 9 a.m. on day one of the AHR Expo in Las Vegas, AHR 2026. And Eric and I had a chance to capture the real spirit of the industry in real time. We had a couple of great guests join us, Chris Fabre and David Cornette of Hughes Mechanical from Zachary, Louisiana. And they shared their perspectives from the commercial service and construction sides of the trade. They dove into how contractor learning has evolved from early podcasts and forums and Facebook groups to today's hyper-connected social media ecosystem, which you're listening to right now, right? Chris and Dave talk candidly about being called in to fix improperly installed systems and how that forced growth, sharpening their diagnostic skills, and why the measurement tools have become indispensable. From airflow testing to wireless probes, they reflect on how modern instrumentation has transformed troubleshooting from guesswork into data-driven decision-making. We also touched on the highlights from the HVAC Tactical Awards, where industry legends like John Pastorello and the growing role of apps, workflows, and integrated digital tools in technician performance and communication. And we wrapped up with a discussion about contractor accountability, Better HVAC's mission, and how directories and verified credentials can help homeowners find professionals committed to continuous learning, ethical work, and measured results. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Good morning, everyone. And for those of you listening later on our recorded, welcome to the Building HVAC Science Podcast. I'm Eric Kaiser. Bill Spohn over here to my left. We're actually in person today.
We are.
We are coming to you
yes.
from the AHR Expo. So this is being recorded day one, 9 a.m. at the AHR Expo 2026 in Las Vegas. And Bill, how long have you been here?
I think it's about 37 years I've been coming to this event.
37.
In case you can't tell, I sort of look that way. But I'd really like to figure out how many miles I've walked on this show floor. Before, I used to work for Backrack Instruments for 10 years and Testo Instruments and actually Superior Valve for a couple of years. So I do have like some manufacturer experience, and I'm sort of on the other side of the table where True Tech Tools, our business that Eric and I work at, we sell tools and test instruments for HVACR. So we come and visit with a lot of our vendors. How many do you have on your hit list?
I think I have 59 last time I looked at my list, and there's probably some on there that I don't have put on yet. So a lot of people to visit while we're here.
And I have like 62, but some of them are like friends you made in the industry. And I hopefully this podcast helps people kind of unite, figure things out together. That's like one of the goals of our podcast.
I'm trying to think. I think I've been coming here since 2007, so not quite as long as you. But you mentioned logging miles.
Yeah.
You've been coming here a couple years before we had these things on our wrist that would keep track of that.
Right.
So you'd have to go back and do some math.
I would.
Now, if you know Bill as well as I do, you know he loves a good spreadsheet. So it's entirely possible that he could go back and figure all this out and may put that information out there someday.
Although perhaps my gait has shortened over the years. I'm not sure. Or at least I wobble. But we've got some newer, actually 2 people we pulled out of the crowd, literally, to join us here today.
I mean, we're friends.
We are.
We've known each other for many years.
Well, we just ran into you.
Yeah.
That's so great. That's awesome. Again, what it's about in this industry. Want to introduce?
So we've got Chris Fabre and David Cornette from Hughes Mechanical in which part of Zachary, Louisiana?
Yeah, just outside of Baton Rouge.
Okay, so down there where it's hot and humid.
It was colder there when we left than when we got here.
Well, the weather's been a little weird this year.
It was like 25 degrees when we got on the plane in Baton Rouge.
That seems very wrong for Louisiana.
Yeah, we're not used to having to drip water or do the things that people up north do, and it's definitely been interesting this winter. But South Louisiana is saying if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes, it's going to change. I mean, it is what
Seems
it
to be
is.
true everywhere lately.
Yeah, it's been wild.
I sent Nate a graph the other day. It was 72, and then I think 30 minutes later it had dropped to 42.
Wow.
So much for climate zones.
But we had in Baton Rouge, it was in the 40s. In New Orleans, which is 60 miles southeast, was still in the 70s. There was just that hard shear line with the weather. It was pretty crazy.
So what do you guys do?
So I'm the commercial service manager for Hughes Mechanical, and I have been doing HVAC right at 9 years now. And we focus primarily on VRV, VRF is our mainstay. David is our commercial install construction manager,
project management. Yeah, project management. Basically handling the install, commercial projects, dealing with subcontractors, general contractors. A lot of arguing through emails, the fun stuff.
We were talking about it yesterday. He has a daily annoyance level that is just constant because I do service in the South. In the wintertime, it doesn't get really, it's my boiler's down. So we slack off kind of a bit in the wintertime, and then in the summer, it is just insanity. But I get peaks and valleys, and he's just kind of always annoyed.
I remember hearing about some projects at Hughes Mechanical that are pretty far out there. Like they call you when they can't figure it out.
We get a lot of callbacks from other companies that installed it or installed improperly or didn't commission properly. And it's made us better because we had to figure out what was wrong. It's not that we are the end all. There's better techs out there. Yeah. But we've been forced to learn from others' mistakes.
So where do you do some of your learning?
So originally, and we were discussing earlier, when I got into this industry, Brian had just lost the HVAC school podcast and the Facebook group. And me and old Colby, that works for Brian now, actually, we would PM in units and listening to the podcast and listening to you, listening to old Grumpy Bergman. Yeah. And the early days of that, and people should really revisit it, were like super, super fundamental. Now it's more technical, more focused. But the Bergman's premise of you're a janitor first has stuck with me from the beginning.
Got it.
If it's not clean, if the blades aren't clean, the coils aren't clean, you don't have the airflow, don't put gauges on it.
We took part in an event last night, and Eric, you could describe what it was. And it did have a lot of that humble, growing, learning feeling to it at an event last night.
So last night was the 6th annual HVAC Tactical Awards show, which really honors the blue-collar trades. Its claim to fame is blue-collar goes black tie. And if anybody's ever gotten to go to that or even watch it live, they do stream it live on their YouTube channel as well. It's a pretty cool event to see a bunch of blue-collar people get out there, get honored for what they do in their day-to-day life, what they're showing other people how to do. The social media aspect of the trade has been a bit of an equalizer, and it's been a big
for sure
inflection point, I think, for a lot of people to learn new things and see what's going on around the country. As much as we go around the country a lot to different events, one of the general themes I hear from people is my area is so unique. And to some extent that's true, but I think a lot of people get to experience things, and it's a lot more similar across different geographical regions than a lot of people realize because they don't get to see other geographies.
You're right. It's a lot more similar. The problem was that before we had social media and we had the connectivity that we have now is somebody over in Lafayette, Louisiana, just an example, an hour and a half away from us, they got trained by a guy who got trained by a guy before him, and they weren't using best practices. And that was the way they'd always done it, and they didn't know any better. They weren't idiots. They were ignorant of the process. And now that we have this big outreach, and you see it all the time on social media, you don't have to do that. You don't have nitrogen when you're purging. You don't need to do this. I've done this, and it's never been a problem. It has been. You just haven't seen it.
Right.
Or you haven't done it enough.
Yeah, the worst thing you can hear is we've always done it this way. Okay, well, there's other ways to do things.
As long as you finish that sentence with, we've always done it that way with good results. Then
yeah, absolutely.
But how are you proving those good results?
Right. And now that we have, again, we'll plug TrueTech, we have the ability to get tools that are affordable. I mean, it used to be $10,000 for a kite. If you wanted to measure airflow, you can get them under $1,000 now. Blower doors are down, duct leakage test, all the tools that you need to really test out once you've actually completed the project and go, the airflow is good. Let me just hold my hand to the vent. The Tech TrueFlow Grid.
Right. Yeah, for residential systems, that is a game changer for airflow testing.
Just the manometer is what, $600-800?
Yeah.
But it's a super high resolution manometer for under $1,000. And people don't understand the value of that product. Like, it's $1,000. Okay. They used to be 5, used to be 10.
Yeah. You can solve real problems with those tools now and much faster than we could before.
Right.
So how do you think that evolution of tools and test instruments, how much has that impacted like your business from a technician standpoint day to day?
I bought the first set of field piece probes, the job link kit with the 2 temp clamps, the 2 pressure, and the 2 air probes. Because I told Jim, I said, whenever you can get that integrated to measure quick, I'm going to buy a set of these probes. And he got it integrated, and I bought them. And now we have a dozen sets easily. And the guys will show up, they'll deploy everything, and I'll get a phone call. And they're like, well, I got this temp, and I got this pressure, and I got this. And I'm like, so look at the system as a whole. Because when I started, we had a field piece meter with a K-type thermocouple stuck in it. You go stick it in the vent, you'd tape it to your line set. And now you have the ability to get the entire system as a whole and look at it live. Instead of, let me get a measurement here, let me get a measurement here, and they're separated by time. They're whether it's the field piece, the testos, there's a dozen varieties out there. But that is an insane ability.
So going back to the Tactical Awards and the social media connection, which we riffed off into, but one of the most meaningful aspects last night was to see John Pastorello of Refrigeration Technologies get the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
That was truly deserved. He's such a unique individual. We've had him on the podcast a number of years ago, but his story still holds true. And Brian Orr from HVAC School in Kalos gave a very nice introduction to John up there. Very humble man. If you can find them, people that are here, Refrigeration Technologies, look for that booth, or Viper. That's sort of their brand name, Viper.
Yeah. Super nice guy. Yeah. Like, John is just the nicest.
And a wealth of knowledge, too.
Make great products as well.
They do make great products. But John, I've known him for 15 years probably now, and he's always been helpful. If you need a question, like, he would answer it. And I see that company carrying that on. His son is taking that over now and really running that. I think John announced last night this was going to be his last AHR.
He did. He called it his swan song.
Yeah, which is really cool that he got that award at the last one, too. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be missed around the show quite a bit, I'm sure, but has definitely left a legacy in this industry. Yep. We got to see some other great awards given last night. Lady of the Trade went to Megan McIntosh,
yes,
out of Denver, who does a great job. Their business focuses on the cannabis industry.
Mechanical environments, yeah.
Mechanical environments.
A very tough environment.
Yeah.
Very demanding environment, very demanding industry, because there's literally hourly changes in those grow rooms that you have to manage and come into that. I'm not super familiar with
very large areas with humidity, lighting control, and it's so much light that you're having to factor the lights themselves into your load calculations.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, they're LED lights and they're still pumping out lots of heat.
Heat energy.
I'm not super familiar. We haven't legalized it totally in Louisiana yet, but just, again, from social media, I get to learn from others' experiences. We do the VRV, VRF Facebook group. I get to see others' problems that whenever I go onto a site and I see something, I'm like, man, I think I remember something about that. And it's just that interaction ability that we have.
And on the install side, I get to see how other people install it. We get to get ideas of, okay, they ran their lines like this and they use these products, and it's really been a help for us. I mean, social media has really opened up hundreds of doors for people to interact. I mean, that's how we met, actually, on social media. And 7 years later, we're working together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What's your background, David?
Went to work for a company, just changing filters, belts, worked my way up to a service manager, and left there, came over to Hughes, and it's been a blessing every day. I mean, they're just the best company to work for. They really take care of us. They really invest in not only our education, but our families, our lives. So they've just been an awesome company to work for. They sent me here, and I've been wanting to come here for 15 years, and this is amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it hasn't even started yet.
I know, but I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, they don't even open the show floor for another 45 minutes, and you're already having the time of your life.
Oh, yeah. I'm just having a blast.
Hang out with good people.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
there's a lot of good conversations happening even before the show. What are you looking forward to? I'll start with David. What are you looking forward to at this show most, and what do you hope to take away?
Just viewing all the new products that are coming out, meeting people that I follow on social media, put faces to names in real life, and just making connections. It's an exciting time.
What about you, Chris? What are you looking to take away from this? Is this your first time
This
here?
is my second one.
This is your second one.
I did, when it winds up being in Orlando with the HVAC school is when it's the best.
Yep.
Because my first one I went to was the first HVAC school. And we did that like Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And then AHR started on Monday, so we just tracked it through. For me, coming to these shows, one, it's to meet with the people that I've been dealing with. And a lot of it is looking at things that we don't see. So last time I came here, I sat through a hydronics, hot water heating class with Dan Holohan.
Dan Holohan.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because we don't do any hydronic heating, baseboard style, things like that. If there's a boiler, it's probably 5 to 50 million BTU in a big commercial application, not in a smaller residential style.
Yeah.
So I like seeing stuff that we don't get to see.
That's always interesting, and Dan's a fantastic
Oh,
speaker
he
and
is.
educator. He's got so many great stories from over the years. In fact, last year he won the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Tactical Awards.
Awesome. Oh,
as
wow.
well. He was honored with that, and a very well-deserving person of it. And he was in attendance. He may be here at the show today, but he was
I would say
attending
he's
at
likely
the
here.
I mean, he literally wrote the book on hydronic heating.
many of them.
I mean, pumping away. That's, yeah.
One of the best books on
Yeah.
hydronic heating for sure. And he wrote a lot of steam books as well that has helped the industry, and many people in the industry remember how to do steam.
His website is
Heatinghelp.com.
heatinghelp.com. Yeah.
Yeah, his daughter Erin has continued that website. Dan has kind of retired from running that, but his daughter Erin continues that website on
Okay,
today.
cool.
They've got some forums on there, a lot of Dan's books, just a lot of unbelievably great information if somebody needs to go learn that or be able to pick that up. It's a great resource.
Nice.
Question for you: does Hughes do residential work?
It's,
Yeah.
we're probably 30-70.
70-30.
Yeah, we do primarily commercial,
Yeah.
but we still have quite a few residential customers. We do blower door testing. Actually, we do third-party blower door and duct leakage for others. People that don't
Makes
want to
sense,
invest
yeah.
in it, and they got to get COAs, certificate of occupancies.
What got you into doing the more comprehensive testing for the building aspect?
Arguing with Chris Hughes.
Okay. Hey, the best things come out.
He's wrong. He's going to be wandering around here somewhere. I'm sure
Absolutely.
he's with Steve
Yeah.
at the tech booth.
Yeah.
But he said, she said doesn't work. If you break out tools and you do testing, the answer's there. So arguing about undersized returns, undersized ductwork, we're not getting enough airflow. The real biggest problems in our industry in the residential side are, I got 100 square inches a ton on return. It's fine with a 1-inch pleat. Or, I mean, a 7-inch flex will do 150 CFMs if it's perfect and it's about that long.
It will if you put in a big enough blower on
Yes.
one end of it.
Yeah. Which is the fun part about commercial. We don't trigger safeties till we get about 5 inches of static pressure. So we just bump it up.
So do you find similar problems with duct sizing and filter sizing and things like that on commercial? Is that a...
To an extent, I mean, not as bad as the residential side, but I mean, it happens.
Older buildings where they retrofit, they had problems. They're like, oh, we had a 5-ton in here. We'll put a 7.5. We got a grocery store that had 4 5-ton units, and they were having humidity issues. So they replaced them with they had 4 5s. They replaced them with 4 10s and didn't do anything to the ductwork or the returns.
I bet that helped their humidity issues. Well, I bet it changed their humidity issues, maybe not in the way they thought it was going to.
Because of our background at the grocery stores, you have a lot of free cooling.
Yeah.
A lot of free cooling. And engineers will size that building for the usual 1 BTU a square foot, that kind of thing. But they don't take into account open cases, open racks.
The human element.
So you wind up putting hot air into them, putting a false load just so you can get your HVAC equipment to run longer to dehumidify. You're not even dehumidifying, you're heating the air.
It's kind of a reheat while you're in the space,
Yes,
really. It's
yes.
not in the ductwork so much, but it's still in that, what we call the biggest duct in the system.
Yeah.
Our heat transfer materials, refrigerants, and air don't obey human logic. They obey physics.
Yes.
Unfortunately. That's why we have the science aspect to our podcast.
Yep.
And that's why we're so into getting the scientific information through the tools to make good decisions.
Are you saying that people should pay attention to physics more while they're in school?
Or at least now. And it's easier. We were talking about engineering mindset just beforehand.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you think about that video.
Yeah, Engineering Mindset, great YouTube series. Like I sent it to all my guys. The way he explains everything from just the basics, like the absolute basics, all the way to finished whatever he's talking about. It's just a great series. He does great work. His auto animations are awesome. Mm-hmm. He does really good animation for breaking it down and explaining it. So
you don't have to be a physicist or a chemist. Sorry, Rachel. but you have to listen to them and listen to the ones that speak to you and use materials and media. Like you mentioned Steve Rogers a couple times. Yeah. Chris works for them now.
Other Chris.
Yeah, the other Chris. Yeah. And they do a good job explaining the physics and producing tools that you can extract information with the physics.
So I haven't done a blower door test in some years. And Colby, who used to work for us, that when he moved to Florida, he's working with Brian, was doing all our blower doors. So we have one guy that still has his license on it. So we brought him in because we hadn't done one in a little bit. And we have a brand new in the box tech blower door kit with their little manometer and app and everything. Had never used it. So I said, okay, we have a little mother-in-law suite near our office. I said, let's go set it up. Turned it on, watched the YouTube on how to do it, turned it on. It said, plug in this color hose to this port, this color hose to this port, hit next, do this. And having had RetroTech equipment for years that I think my other office stole from me.
We won't talk about that here.
Yeah. Sam might get mad at me, but whatever. The walkthrough in the app to do the equipment, the test, flowed in the tech between the app and the manometer. It just worked. I had never used the equipment. I put it together, turned it on, ran it through, and done. And that was kudos to them. Like you said, Steve and Chris and all of them have been working on that for years to really refine it.
I think that's a big part of what's happening now with a lot of apps is the workflow. Workflows are being built in. Helps you remember what you forgot. And I'm stealing this from Brian's podcast, but it's something you maybe never learned before.
I mean, you've seen it with Measure Quick.
Yeah.
It was a little clunky when it started.
Right.
It's gotten a whole lot. It's got nice little starting points and work-throughs and all that.
You mentioned workflows. Do you find that workflows like that are a benefit to the technicians in the field so that they go through the same steps every time and don't miss something? Is that beneficial?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't have 5 different people doing the same job 5 different ways. It doesn't work.
That's why we have to get the same answers out of it every time or repeatable information.
Right. You have to do a test the same way every time for the results to be valid.
Speaking of apps.
Oh, yeah. I heard.
Yeah, you heard. Did you hear just this morning?
Oh, yeah. Some guy was shilling it to me earlier.
Yeah, right. So Tech Tools now has an app. It was soft launched at the HVACR Symposium a couple weeks ago. It's available for download now. You'll find it under True Tech Tools at the iOS App Store and the Android Play Store. It's in, call it minimum viable product mode. It works well. Feedback's welcome, but we plan to have a lot of great things planned for it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Make it searchable. That's searchable and filterable I'm trying to say. Trying to buy something on Amazon, if you don't know the SKU, you're going to get 9,000 results. Something that you can drill down through, like MasterCar kind of style of, I want a contactor, I want one pole, I want this volt.
Right.
When you're trying to sort, that's what I'm looking for in a purchasing app.
Look at that. Get feedback live.
There you go.
Right. So have you heard of Better HVAC?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the Facebook group. Yeah.
He's on every Facebook group. I mean,
Isn't there a Canadian guy in there?
There is.
Yes.
Chris is kind of famous for Facebook groups.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So what is Better HVAC, Bill?
Better HVAC, basically it's a directory for contractors who will take a pledge to learn continuously, share openly, and do ethically. And that ethical does include making measurements and recording measurements and sharing them with your customer. So it's a directory where after you take that pledge, customers can find you and you can display your credentials. And right now we're working on, it was co-founded by Kevin R. Hart.
The Canadian, not the comedian.
There you go. Thank you for adding that. And you can go to right now, betterhvac.org and see what it's all about. But basically we're hoping to have consumers find contractors, professionals, individuals that have put together their resume of what they feel is important, how they do their work, and be found. And we're already starting to hear around a dozen or so people
I've actually sent people to Dustin Cole.
Perfect.
He's a couple hours away from us, but when we have people that have a real problem house, it's less and less of what we do. We use the tools to fix problems that we have. But when you talk in a house as a whole, some of those people I have to gladly turn over to Dustin because he's ethical, moral, and a smart guy.
Yep. And
I found him on the Veterinary HVAC thing. I just made sure he was on there so I could send somebody the link.
Yeah, and that's it. Like I actually, back in 2018, my sister was trying to find someone to do work in Wichita, Kansas. And she said, hey, Bill, you know a lot of people in HVAC. And with all those years walking around the show floor, I actually do. But I couldn't think of someone off the top of mind that I trust sending a relative to. And that's what this is all about. It's about building that trust through your credentials. You can actually add badges now from Rewiring America to your profile and BPI, Building Performance Institute. And we're working on adding other badges to that too.
Awesome.
That'll allow you to show off what your credentials are and give consumers an idea of who they can work with. So it's a free directory, free to join and free to use.
Will you have the ability for them to have any case studies linked or anything like that under their profiles?
You can do as much as you can under your profile. Case studies is a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. But there is a section where someone who uses them can either give a testimonial or a complaint. But we sort of understand contractors, like complaints just can't come randomly. They have to come with evidence.
Yes.
So they have to show that there actually was a problem with it, with the situation. But around 300 people in the directory now. We're looking to build that to 1,000 by the end of the year.
There's not a lot by me. I think Dustin's there. Chris Hughes is still listed there, even though he's, I think, 1,400 miles north now.
Right.
So, Chris Hughes, if you're listening, you need to go update your profile.
Yeah, we're going to see what direction we go as a company as a whole as we keep growing. Hopefully I can focus some more strictly on the residential side. Right now I've got 8. I think it's 7 or 8.
You have 7.
7, yeah. Techs. And summertime in Louisiana, you don't have a lot of free time. So it would be nice to be able to fill in the shoulder seasons and winter with more projects and whatnot.
What sort of different challenges do you find between doing commercial and residential? So you're about 70% commercial, 30% residential. Yes. What are some of the different challenges or differentiators you find between those two areas of the market?
So let's say with commercial, we're talking not a split system on a strip mall, like a larger facility. Commercial, the customer wants it working. Residential, this is what's wrong. Okay, well, I'm going to get 3 more quotes. Now, we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive, but we feel that we're fair in our pricing. But with commercial, I'm also, the people that are listening, I'm a large man, and I don't need to be in an attic. So
maybe you don't even fit in an attic.
There's times he doesn't.
I don't.
Yeah.
Commercial, we get mechanical rooms. Well, I need to put something on a roof. We go hire a crane. It's bigger work, but I find it easier because of the scope of the equipment that we get to use and the access that we have. There's nothing like walking into a concrete floored, conditioned air handler room. You're like, oh no, I have to work it inside today in this like 68 and nice.
Maybe dehumidified. It's an important thing in Louisiana.
Dehumidification is a challenge. When you tell somebody residentially that their 5-ton unit should be a 3, oh, it'll never work, it'll never cool. Okay, well, you've got mold and mildew problems, and then you look at the inside of your air handler, and it's a mold farm, biological growth farm, whatever. We've never been comfortable. Here's why.
We get calls.
You got to keep it at 65 to be comfortable.
Yeah. We get calls every other week. Come look at our AC. We think we need to upsize it. We've got a 3-ton. We want to go to a 5.
We won't do it.
No.
What do you have to tell a person when you have that conversation, or how do you approach that conversation with a person when they're just insistent they want to go bigger, to try to educate them?
It is difficult at best because there isn't a very simple work through of static pressure and airflow and change in enthalpy and all the things that you need to really understand what we're trying to do with the system as a whole.
All those physics things.
All them physics things that I did not pay attention to in school.
Yeah.
But it's just a challenge. And then, again, we go back to the commercial side. You get a little bit bigger equipment. You have reheat. You have preheat. You have variable airflow that you have real control over, that I would love to have a residentially.
So the physics aren't changing, of course, but the equipment
How you're
changes
doing
a
it,
lot. Yeah, how you're doing it, how you get to do it, the control systems, things like that are very different there. So
we talked before we started here about your company's growing, and we talked a little about business procedures and processes. So was that something you always did in a business, or is it something you latched onto, and what are the benefits or downsides you've seen?
The problem we have had is the same. This is my third career. I was an IT professional for 14 years. I did industrial scale and control work, and then I got into HVAC. So I've been through different offices, different people. If you don't have a workflow from the call come in till the call is completed, it's going to be chaos. And fortunately, we have a lady at the office that handles incoming calls and booking and moving guys around. We have a decent piece of software that lets us schedule and do our ticketing and all that. And getting everything to go through that one lady instead of me. Oh, I got a call come in. I'm just going to put this person on there. And then Travis across the way goes, oh, I'm going to put this guy on this guy. And neither of us communicated. Now we've promised one customer or two customers the same technician at the same time, and that becomes an issue. So having those funnels, those paths for everything.
Sort of predefined.
Right. Yeah. And then letting people know their place in the world.
So what you're looking for at HR then is a cloning machine?
If I am rapidly trying to get myself further away from the field, like in the field, not out of the career, but I am training as much as I can and trying to pass on knowledge and educate as much as I can with my guys to try to replicate partially some of myself at least.
That's an interesting topic, and it was actually one that came up quite a bit, is the education part at the Tactical Awards last night. And I think it's really important. How do you find that time or build that time in to pass that knowledge along to the next generation?
So my little Marty will hate it, but I just don't care about the hours. I'm a fixed cost. I cost X number of dollars per year. I don't really work any overtime unless it's scheduled, or if it's big enough customer, I guess. So I will schedule my guys to go do a job they're not comfortable with or haven't done, and I put myself on it as well. And then we bill out the time on the job. I don't. But it's a long play on the project. It's if I have to go out on every one, then we're losing money. But if I can get them comfortable on doing a job, and then I don't have to go on that anymore, I can have focus elsewhere.
Sooner or later, you're going on every other one, and then every third one, and then
correct,
every 10th one, and so on and so forth down the line. Passing that along, building them up, building their confidence.
And it's not the old school mentality of, well, if I teach this guy how to do it, they'll take my job. I want them to.
Well, if they don't take your job working, you're not going to be able to go anywhere else or do anything else or help the company grow.
Right. And I've been, and David's been the same way. We've been the only guy that could work on X, which means you're never really off of work. So it's about work-life balance also, and training others to Bruce or Jonathan or whoever else. We get a call for an AON. We have more than one person that can look at an AON now, and it's awesome. just an example. But
how are you finding, and we hear a lot about this, that new generations are having challenges coming into the trade. How are you finding that in your area, and how are you finding people that are really interested in learning?
I'm going to defer to David on this because he's picked up 2 or 3 guys on construction that are in there.
I want them green off the street. I don't want them with.
Why is that?
I can train them the right way. We have processes of how we do things, and we do things by the book. Trade school's great. I'm not bashing trade school. It's a great opportunity for people to go get a certificate with their name on it. They can get their EPA while they're there. But I'm more of a hands-on learner. I didn't go to trade school. I learned by burning things and going, oh, don't do that again. I've gotten really good at apologizing to customers. Look, I burnt your blower motor up. I wired it wrong. I apologize. I'm going to get you another one. I'm sorry.
Did you figure out how to put that magic smoke back in?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried. It's just it won't. So, but yeah, getting them green off the street and training them up.
So when you get them green off the street, is there like a personal characteristic like in their attitude, their approach to things? What do you see there that makes you say, like, that's one I'd like to employ?
A drive to just better themselves. That's it. I mean, if you have a drive to better yourself in life, you're going to give effort into doing just that. Learning, putting in the time, listening to the podcasts, reading the manuals of things. Like, I'm a manual thief. I steal every manual. If we have multiple units on a job site, one of those manuals has come with me. It's just reading the manuals in your downtime, the drive to better yourself. And if I can get those guys to do that, then we're going to be in great shape. I've got a crew of guys right now, guys that no experience came in, and we're knocking out VRV projects left and right and doing it profitable, doing great work that we're actually proud of. There's a lot of VRV equipment that gets installed. You go look at it after the fact and you're just, oh God, that's atrocious. I instilled in these guys when, even if we don't get the contract for the maintenance or whatever else, I want the next company to be open up the ceiling tile, look up there and go, I want to go work for that company because they do things right. Everything's plumb, everything's level, everything's the way it should be.
So that goes towards a process for hiring then. Yeah, more or less. I mean, whether it's in your mind, whether it's written down, we use a process for hiring at TrueTech Tools. We look for characteristics in people, and we ask a lot of questions about their experiences, how they handle different situations, because that's what it's going to end up being when they're let loose to do the work.
I would say service side, we have a reputation for trying to do good work and doing right processes. And my most recent pickup, I think Steven's the newest. Steven's my newest pickup.
Yes, yeah.
And he was at a supply house, and he was talking to one of the desk guys, and he's like, man, I'm kind of wanting to move along. And that guy said, well, you need to call us. And then he called, the counter guy said, you need to hire this guy. He called me up, or called Travis, and said, you need to hire this guy. Because he had a good reputation for doing work as well.
Yep.
And he's meshed really well, builds race cars, got real mechanical mindset. I find that your hobbies will dictate a lot of how good you are going to be.
That's a great question. Yeah.
Like, what do you do on your downtime? I play Call of Duty. Okay, then that's fine. I'm not knocking Call of Duty. I play a little bit myself.
There's a process to that.
But do you have extracurricular activities? Again, carpentry, craftsmanship stuff. And that kind of lets you know that there's a good chance they're going to be
or in my
a good
case,
pickup.
building Pinewood Derby cars.
I have one I have to build.
Really wanted to excel at that.
I have one I have to get built for next weekend.
I think it's next weekend, yeah.
I think it's next weekend.
You have to get built. Wait a minute. Wait, that's kind of like
We sponsored the Boy Scouts and bought them a Pinewood Derby track.
beautiful. You got to build a track.
No, we built that last year.
Okay.
They already have it. It's built. We raced last year, but every year I get roped into showing up with a car and racing it against the kids and some local.
So two things I learned about physics. My background's in mechanical engineering, but even had to learn that about the cars. Is you need to polish the axles and take the three things. Take the edge off the wheels.
You got to cant one of them.
And then lift one of them off. So
Yep.
it's only on three wheels to eliminate the friction.
Yes.
Bill just gave away all the secrets of Pinewood
And
Derby.
And don't let him fool you. He looks it all up on Amazon and buys them pre-done.
And you want most of your weight just behind the rear axle, but only slightly.
Yep. I learned all that. I don't know how, because the internet wasn't around back
Right.
then when my son was doing that. So
I have always thought, so I'm just going to riff on Pinewood Derby here for a minute. I've always thought there should be two classes in Pinewood Derby. There should be scout-built cars, and then there should be all the adults, and let them go race over here and let the adults have their own race.
Well, so next weekend, I think it's next weekend, they have their scout troop is at a Catholic church. So the priest is building the car, the local police chief's building the car, the local fire chief's building the car, and we're doing one, and I think there's somebody else. So it'll be just kind of us, the big boys racing against each other.
I like that, because I can remember being in scouts, and I can remember I had my dad, you got to build this car.
Car shows up, and it's got a pearl paint job on it.
It shows up in a shoebox, and it looks like the scout has never touched it before. And I'm like, I'm not winning this race.
So who was heckling us a little while ago? Someone is in your line of sight going this way?
I mean, they let anybody in.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's open to the street right now.
Yeah. I mean, literally anybody can walk in here right now. So, Mr. Orr.
And he's acting like he's having a conversation now, too.
Yeah, he's ignoring us now. I have 80,000 people on my Facebook page. Or something. I don't know.
Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap up here shortly. Any last thoughts for the audience or the listeners who are going to be listening to this later? Because there's, I don't know, how many listeners do we have?
We get like 1,000 a week.
I was going to say we had at least 10.
Yeah.
I would
truly listen, yeah.
I would plug the other podcast and say, go back, look at the first 15, 20 episodes of the HVAC school.
Yep.
And send those to your guys, especially if they're as a refresher, or even if they're new, or just as a refresher. Start with the basics on everything. Don't make things too complicated. Eat that elephant one bite at a time when you have a problem.
Breathe in between. Stay calm.
Yep.
Carry on.
I guess to the listeners, if you have not been to AHR, come take a look. It's pretty awesome. Super excited.
I want to riff off what you said there, Chris. One of the things I learned from Brian's podcast is how to be wrong and how to be humble. And I've heard him say this more than once. He said, I put stuff out there, and he said, then I'd get a phone call or I'd get an email, and I'd learn, maybe I wasn't quite right, or maybe I was just flat out wrong. Mm-hmm. But as a technician, that's a powerful lesson to learn.
Absolutely.
How to be wrong, how to say, yep, I screwed up, how to say, okay, I did screw up, and now we're going to fix this.
I made expensive sounds, and now I have to fix it.
We actually had a meeting about this.
Oh, which one?
That last one, I think. Yeah, we pretty much had a meeting to discuss, look, you make a mistake. We're human. Own up to it. Let's fix it.
Yep.
Bill, any last thoughts before we close this out?
Let's get to walking.
Let's get to walking. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of walking this next 3 days. So here we go.
It'll be good times, though.
Yeah.
Thanks for the impromptu.
Oh, thanks for inviting us, man.
Caught us off guard. All the people standing out watching us here live and not heckling us too much. I think he walked away. Goodbye, Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Building HVAC Science Podcast. Hopefully you caught a few things here. I'll just remind you a couple quotes that stuck with me. If you're not measuring, you're just arguing with opinions. And the tools got better, but what really changed is the technician mindset. And then finally, we used to diagnose systems one reading at a time. Now we see the whole story live. I also host the Res Talk podcast, where we dig into the world of home energy ratings, workforce development, and the policies and programs shaping the future of residential energy performance. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so. Building HVAC Science on your favorite podcast app. You can follow the show on Facebook by searching for Building HVAC Science. If you have questions for future episodes, topics you want to tackle, just email us at marketing@truetechtools.com. A quick disclaimer, some of the topics we discuss require professional training and experience to interpret or perform safely. And if you're a trained professional, you'll know how to apply this information appropriately, not consult with and hire a trained pro. The Building HVAC Science Podcast is a production of True Tech Tools Limited. Full disclosure, I'm a co-owner of True Tech. The opinions expressed in the show are those of my guests, myself, or my co-host, depends on who's speaking, of course. If you're looking for tools or test instruments mentioned on the podcast or just in general, you can find them at truetechtools.com, TrueTechTools.com. You can use the code HVACBS for a listener discount. Thanks for listening and supporting the show and our efforts. Subscribing will help you stay current and help us reach more people who care about doing work the right way. We appreciate you. Take care.